Today's story comes from the Am I the A-hole subreddit and was posted by Majestic B 7045 and was titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to exclude my non-biological son for the sake of my biological son I never knew existed? My wife, 45 female, and I, 45 male, have 3 kids, 19 male, 18 male, 11 female. My 18-year-old son, let's call him Blake, fake name, is not me or my wife's biological son. He is my best friend's son. My best friend tragically passed away when Blake was 7. My best friend was like a brother, and he was a single father. My wife and I ended up getting legal guardianship of Blake after my best friend died. Blake was 7 at the time. We got guardianship of Blake for a lot of reason, but that isn't my story to tell. That is Blake's story. So I will not go into detail. But Blake is my son. I will always respect and honor his biological father, but Blake views me as his dad, and he views my wife as his mom. My other kids, 19 male, 11 female, are his siblings. Things have not been easy, but Blake has grown into an amazing man that I am so proud of. Little backstory, my wife and I broke up like 6 weeks after our oldest son, let's call him Danny, fake name, was born because the stress of parenthood was driving me and my wife apart. We were not married at the time, so we went off and lived our own lives as single people for about a year. I was, of course, still an involved father toward my oldest son. During the beginning of me and my wife's breakup, when Danny was maybe 4 months old, I met a woman who was a lot older than me. Fake name, Lily. Me and Lily were never a couple. We met up a few times. Never spoke to each other after that. Lily had a son, James, fake name. Apparently, she thought James was the son of Lily's husband, who she is still with to this day, despite the fact Lily cheated on her husband. I had no clue she was married, by the way. James took an ancestry when he turned 18, had some results that didn't quite match who he thought was his biological father. He matched with me on Ancestry cause I took a test a few years back. James got in contact, which obviously was a shock to me, but my wife and I have welcomed him into our family with open arms. Now I have 4 kids, 19 male, 18 male, 18 male, 11 female. I'm still figuring out my father-son dynamic with James, but he's a great guy, and I'm so happy he is part of our lives now, despite how confusing this whole situation was at first. But James seems to have some issues with Blake. Blake does not know. I'm not entirely sure why James seems to resent Blake. Earlier today, James asked me if we could go on a father-son camping trip with Danny. I was, of course, very much enthusiastic about a camping trip with my sons, especially since I missed so much of James's life. But I obviously mentioned that Blake is invited too. James got annoyed. He kept telling me that Blake doesn't have to be invited to everything. Then he told me that it would be nice for me to just spend time with my actual sons for once, without Blake. Now that annoyed me. Blake is my son just as much as Danny and James are. So I told James that either Blake is invited or the camping trip is not happening. James is now accusing me of loving Blake more than I love him. So, am I the a-hole? Relevant comments. Commenter 1 says, I think James feels threatened by the fact that someone you're not biologically related to has history with you, but he doesn't. I think all of this is complicated and traumatic for everyone involved. NTA for defending Blake as your son. Blood isn't the only thing that makes a family. I think it'll be a long road to figuring out your permanent family dynamics, and they may never feel fully settled. But James also needs to recognize that 1. Blake isn't less family just because he's not related by blood. 2. Him joining your family doesn't give him a right to dictate your family dynamics beyond how he interacts with its members. 3. His role in all this isn't less valid for Blake being here. Sadly, I think these are complex emotions he's going to have to work through and come to terms with, and you as the adult in the situation will also need to help him with it and work through your own as well. I'm sorry it's hard. Family is hard in the best situations, but this is even more complex than typical. Opie replied, I think you're probably correct about why James dislikes Blake so much. Commenter 2 says, I think it's also that they are the same age, so James sees it as competing for the same type of attention. Are they similar, or are they kids who never would have been friends in any other situation? Is Blake better looking, more popular, athletic? James may be jealous of Blake if he sees Blake as better than him, or thinks Blake sees himself that way. One of my good friends has an 18-year-old son and an 18-year-old stepson. They get along okay, but one is popular, the other not, and it's a dynamic they have to deal with frequently. Opie replied, "They are not similar at all. On paper, Blake should be jealous of James. James is quite popular. He has multiple friend groups. He is athletic." Commenter 3 says, "Not the a-hole, but this entire family needs family therapy. It's great that you're welcoming this new addition with open arms. But what do the people who raised him, Lily and stepdad, think /say/act about it? How does your wife feel about it? After such a monumental discovery about his existence, is James in individual therapy, and has he been given avenues to process emotions/feeling in a healthy way?" Opie replied, "Lily says she genuinely didn't know James was my son, but I don't really speak to her. James is an adult. He contacts me, and I have no reason to contact his mother apart from my initial conversation with Lily asking why she didn't tell me. I think Lily and her husband are in a bad spot right now with their marriage. My wife, bless her heart, has been incredibly understanding. Of course, this was difficult for her, but she seems to be handling the situation well." Commenter 4 says, "And that is probably your answer. Have you asked James how the man he thought was his father is treating him now? Because if it's not good, then that's why he has an issue with Blake. I don't think it's because of Blake himself, but because you can treat him as a son when the man he grew up with as his father may no longer be, and he's hurting. It's easier for him to take what he's feeling out on Blake, but he isn't the issue. James needs help to process what he's feeling and going through." Opie replied, "James is kind of reserved about that topic. I know he had a good bond with the man he thought was his father for years, but based on how reserved James is about the topic now, I would assume Lily's husband has been acting distant." Commenter 5, "Not to be a dick, but of course you would love Blake more than James. You have known him your whole life. Honestly, the problem is that James wanted to include your other bio son. If he would have just said, 'Can we do something, just you and me?' that would have been totally reasonable. You need to have a talk with him immediately where you explain that family is more than just blood, and your adopted son is just as much your son as the other two, and you love him just as much. Not the a-hole." Opie replied, "I love James. He is my son, but for now, my bond is stronger with Blake. I think that's natural, but I wouldn't tell James this, and I also do want to have a similar bond with James." Opie responds to a long comment. Opie says, "James needs to become more secure. He needs to stop seeing love as a zero-sum game. I am more sympathetic to him than some people might be, because it sounds like his childhood may not have been ideal. Therapy for James would be a good place to start. James is in therapy, but as other people have suggested, family therapy might be a good idea. However, consider having some activities you do with each of your kids by themselves. Then you might do some things with James by himself. Yes, I already do this. James and I spent a fair amount of one-on-one time these past few months since I found out about him. I would not tell James that you love Blake more than you love him, but of course you do. You just met James. Obviously, I wouldn't tell James, but yeah, right now the dynamic between me and James is very different than the dynamic I have with Blake. Blake's been my kid since he was 7. I was hugging him after nightmares, taking him to school, even homeschooling him for a few years when he couldn't cope with school for multiple reasons. So yeah, right now my bond with Blake is stronger. But that doesn't mean I don't want my bond with James to be equally as important eventually." Commenter 6 says, "I don't know why you even told James that Blake isn't your biological son. Should have just introduced him as your son." Opie replied, "Because Blake isn't ashamed of the fact he is adopted. I didn't tell James that Blake is adopted until Blake mentioned his biological dad. We try to keep Blake's biological dad's memory alive in this house. On Father's Day, I always take Blake to visit his father's headstone." Downvoted commenter says, "Yes, the a-hole. James didn't grow up with Blake and is not his brother. I don't think he should be jealous of Blake, but I can understand why he isn't interested in having a family-type relationship with him, just because he is your son, and they are adults now. I don't see why you can't do things separately sometimes. It might feel like you're forcing a family type of relationship on James towards Blake. They aren't family, just because you're to both of them." Opie replied, "I'm fine with James wanting to go on adventures with just me. If James wanted to only have a bond with me, then that's fine. but James wants to be part of our family dynamic. Blake is part of this family, and he always will be. If James wants to join this family dynamic, then he has to accept that Blake is family. I will not exclude Blake. He already has a difficult time mentally due to his story. The last thing he needs is to be excluded. Update. Hi. So, I only posted my original post yesterday, so I did not expect to have an update so fast. But I wasn't really able to respond to a lot of the comments because so much has happened these past 24 hours. Unfortunately, this is not the update I wanted to give, but people were so kind to give me advice that I think it is only fair to inform everybody about what has happened. To answer a few questions I saw, Lily and her husband have been arguing the past 3 months since James found out I am his biological father. James never told me specifically how Lily's husband reacted, but I have a feeling that the reaction was not good. Prior to James doing an ancestry DNA test, Lily's husband was a great father to him. James did not live with us full-time, but he often stayed at our house to get away from the arguing. Okay, now on to the update. After I made that post yesterday, Blake came and spoke to me about some incidents that have happened with James the past 3 months. Unfortunately, James has some views that our family does not agree with, and Blake is a gay man. He is fine with me sharing this information, so he was a target of James's views, leading to some really rude interactions the past few months. The only reason Blake told me now is because he heard from James that James did not want to invite Blake on the camping trip. Blake had tried to keep the peace these past 3 months, bless him, but James not wanting him to come camping. Obviously, I was angry at hearing how James had treated Blake. So I spoke to James this morning and confronted him about this topic. He didn't even deny his views. He tried to convince me that I should kick Blake out the house for this. I don't think this is the full reason he dislikes Blake, but this doesn't help James's resentment. As of right now, I have told James he is not welcome back in my house whilst he still holds these views. Nor am I interested in forming a father-son bond with somebody who has these views. If and when James matures a bit, he will be welcomed into our lives again, but not right now. Blake deserves to feel that his home is a safe space. James is not welcome back here. I am taking Danny and Blake on the camping trip because they do still want to go camping. I have empathy for James's family situation, but at the end of the day, I do not tolerate that hatred in my life. This was not the update I wanted to give, but that is the situation. Thank you for all of your advice. Edit. I should add that James's views also include racism. My wife is black, Blake is black, Danny is mixed race, and my daughter is mixed race. I do think James is more subtle about his racism in comparison to how openly homophobic he was towards Blake. But after I had a chat with James, the first did realize he does also have racist views. Relevant comments. Commenter 1 says, I have to just seriously thank you for defending your son like that. It can't be an easy decision, but it was certainly the right one. When people show you who they are, believe them. Your surprise son is a bigot, and it's good that you know now. Enjoy that trip. Opie replied, of course. This has been Blake's home for 11 years. He has been through so much. The last thing he needs is to live under the same roof as a bigot. Downvoted commenter says, cheaters will never understand the sheer amount of damage they do across multiple families. Jesus, that poor kid. James is the victim and nobody seems to care. So he's lashing out. He's been rejected by every adult in his life because of their shitty actions and choices that he was thrown into against his will. Anyone would feel resentment. I have empathy for his family situation. No, you don't. If anyone at all cared, you'd all be in therapy. Opie replied, as I said, I have sympathy for James' family situation, but I will not tolerate him treating Blake this way. Commenter 2 says, being a victim doesn't mean you can't be a bigoted a-hole. James was taking out his imploded worldview on the non-bio kid he sees as the usurper of his place. Understandable, but not right, and honestly, James needs therapy to deal with that. Blake being gay should not be part of his hate. That's James' bigotry. Opie replied, James's bigoted views is why I've told him he is not welcome here anymore. Blake should feel safe here. He shouldn't have to be exposed to homophobia. The second story is from Relationships subreddit. It was posted by Girlfriend Aspist and was titled Me, 27 male, with my girlfriend, 28 female, of 4 years. She is thinking of dumping me because of my birthday party. So my girlfriend and I have been together for a while and love each other very much. We live together and have been talking about marriage recently. My birthday is next week and shit is about to hit the fan. I really need advice. One thing you need to know about my girlfriend is that she loves throwing parties and giving gifts. Every year, she plans me the most amazing party and goes all out to fulfill my every wish. She always pays for everything and tries her hardest to make sure everyone is fun. This year, she planned me a huge birthday bash and consulted my family about it 2 months in advance to let them know what was going on. They all were happy with the idea and said yes. She asked me to confirm with my brother this week how many people were coming and what time, and that's when everything went to shit. He tells me that him and my whole family don't want to go to this party because it will be inconvenient and maybe we should throw a similar party in April. They want to do something else, and they want my girlfriend to plan it because she planned last year's birthday party. Well, I told my girlfriend, and she flipped out. She got so angry, told me that she was going to lose her deposit, told me that she hated my family, that she was not going to change the party. To be fair, my family has been real shitty to her. They have never gone to anything she has invited them to. Her graduation, her birthday party, our housewarming party. They are extremely passive-aggressive towards her. They ignore her sometimes. They also treat me like garbage too, like I'm the black sheep of the family. My mother abandoned me for years with my abusive father and then tried to reconcile with me in my early 20s to make up for the 17-plus years of neglect. My brother has 6 kids and is on welfare. I can see why she wouldn't like them very much. I told her that I just want to make everyone happy and wasn't sure what the plan was for the party. Apparently, this was the wrong thing to say. Girlfriend blew up and started telling me that she was tired of my family. She couldn't take it anymore. She did not want to deal with this for the rest of her life. That I have too many issues in my life and they were bringing her down. She told me not to come home and stay somewhere else so that she could think she inherited this house from her deceased grandma, so it's hers. I'm devastated, but I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal to break up over. What caused this huge fight? It became something that could make or break us. Why? Relevant comments. Love Prada says, you're allowing your family to disrespect her. Why should she be forced to move the party for them? Put our foot down, tell them no, and tell them to come to this party as there will not be another. Hope replied, that's the thing. They don't want to go to my party anymore. So that means my entire family won't be there, which breaks my heart. I'm stuck in a hard place because I love my family and want them at my birthday party, but I love my girlfriend and don't want her breaking up with me. Love Prada says, it's their fault, not hers, so why should she be made to suffer? It's not fair on her is my point. You said they continuously treat her badly, and I genuinely think they've done this on purpose. They had 2 months' notice and 2 months to tell her they'd not be coming. Tell them to treat her with respect, for Christ's sake. She needs your support in dealing with them, not you trying to make everyone happy. Hope replied, yes, she said the same thing, that they are doing this on purpose. I can understand how it would look that way, but I can see my brother's point too, because his wife is pregnant and doesn't want to be sitting outside. This is just a bad situation to be in all around. I feel like if I take my girlfriend's side, then I'm going to look like a huge, insensitive dick to my family. But if I choose their side, then I'm betraying my girlfriend. I will admit, I got kind of dramatic and told her, fuck this. Just cancel the fucking party, which probably put the nail in the coffin. Red Panda Girl says, wow, you're really going the idiot route. Also, if you're going to marry this girl, which I doubt will happen, she has to be the most important person in your life, even above your family. I'm not seeing that this is the case. You're putting your family, who, by your own admission, treats you and your girlfriend like garbage. I wouldn't be too jazzed about a future with you either. If any of my family were dicks to my fiancé, I'd definitely be vocal about it to them. I'm guessing you're not, as you're making excuses for your family's behavior to even us. Fuck this. Just cancel the fucking party. Yeah, I would have canceled it if I were her. You sounded ungrateful and on your family's side. I'd also have served you your walking papers at that moment. Hope replied, ouch, did I really fuck up that badly? Red Panda Girl says, absolutely. If I were her, you'd be moving out right now instead of posting about it on Reddit. Hope replied, well, the party is an outside event, and all of a sudden they don't want to be outside. They want to party at a place that charges $80 per person to be able to participate in the event, which is another reason my girlfriend is furious. Sefanoir says, so she tends to pay for every part she plans. They suddenly want to go to a place that cost 80 pp and want her to plan it. Are you seeing the link here? Hope replied. Gonna sound really stupid here, but no. Mike Arena says, so your girlfriend pays for and plans the party, gives ample notice. I'm guessing your sister-in-law was pregnant 2 months ago, so if that was an issue, they could have raised it. Instead, to be as mean as possible, they pull this on you last minute. So they want your girlfriend to be out the money on deposits and also to fuck over all the friends who actually made plans to be with you. In addition, they want her to pay for all of them at a place that charges $80 and plan it around them when it's not their fucking birthday. And after all this, you don't see an issue? You think she's being unreasonable? What the fuck is wrong with you? She's spending time, money, and effort to make you feel special and loved. And you repay this by treating her with the same disrespect and throw a tantrum at her because she doesn't want to accommodate people acting like utter shitheads? Why in the hell would it break your heart that your mother, who cares so absolutely little for you, that she abandoned you, and your brother, who apparently just likes to be a bag of dicks, can't come to an event they knew about and deliberately waited until the last minute to say they didn't want to come to, and also don't want to see you in any way on that date? You should seek out some therapy as to why you keep trying to please and placate people who are toxic and shitty to you and think it's better to alienate someone who is kind to you. How the hell your girlfriend has put up with you for 4 years, allowing your family to treat her this way, is beyond me. You should be apologizing to her, explaining exactly how you fucked up. Stop trying to please your shitty family. Hope replied, you're right. His wife is 7 months pregnant, so it's nothing new. I don't know why they didn't bring it up when she told them about it. Mike Arena says, probably because they know by now that they can fuck with both of you, and you will allow it to happen and ask for more. Seriously, Opie, I'm sure you can't help loving your family and wish that you had their approval. The picture you paint, however, are people who should be begging you for your approval and forgiveness. Also, holy fuck, he has a multitude of children, is on welfare, and his wife is pregnant again? Are you guys part of a polygamist Mormon commune, and they dislike your girlfriend because she isn't part of the faith? I'm really trying to understand why you think this is normal or okay that they treat you and she this way. Hope replied, I'm not a confrontational person. I've always been this way. I'd rather just go through pretending everything is all good than do anything about it, especially since I see my family about 3 times a month. Of course, my girlfriend and I drive the hour and a half to go their events, and they've never even seen where we live, damn. Update. So, I, 27 male, did what all you basically screamed at me to do, and I put my foot down with my family. I called my brother and told him that I wanted the birthday party my girlfriend, 28 female, planned me. I told him she put a lot of effort into it and that they could go to that one or not go at all. All he said was, K. I begged for my girlfriend to talk to me, and then I told her everything that I've been holding back about my family. I told her about my insecurities and my issues with neediness and approval seeking. I spilled my heart out to her, something that I've never done with anyone. I have never spoken with anyone about my family, and by the time I was finished, I was a crying mess on my knees. It was pathetic, but she comforted me and cried with me. She said basically everything you guys told me, that I didn't have her back, that she felt like I picked them over her. It broke my heart to hear her cry. I set up a counseling appointment with my school for next week and invited my girlfriend to come with me so she could sit in and speak up if she wants to. I didn't do a big romantic gesture like some of you suggested. I bought her flowers, and we met up in the parking lot of Starbucks, where I spilled my guts to her and cried in her lap while we sat in her car. I have problems, I know that. My family is fucked up. I just wanted them to love me and finally accept me, but I see now that their love is toxic and meaningless. Thank you all for your advice. My girlfriend and I are still together, and while she's still hurt at the things I said, she has forgiven me. She did say that she will not stay if I ever bend down to the will of my family again, which I understand.